My editing process for this little burrowing owl. Normally I edit using Lightroom mobile, so I'm going to stumble through this a little bit, but I'm going to start off with cropping it, and I'm going to do this 4x5 because I'm probably going to share it on social media. And cropping, I really mess with a lot. Like throughout the process I'll probably change this up, but I'm kind of torn on this one because you can see the owl's body is facing this right side, which makes me want to leave some open space over there, like where he's facing, but then his face is turned over almost the other way. So I just kind of go back and forth with what I want to do there. A lot of the times I will just align it in the center, which I know a lot of people don't like. It's like against the rules for like good composition, but I don't know, I like to do that sometimes. So I'm gonna start here though, just because he's kind of facing out this way. I like that. And then sometimes I will try out these little auto settings just to see if it gets me any closer to what I want. Now this is pretty intense, but it is a little bit closer, so I'm gonna start there. I don't want the blacks to be that intense, but some of the other stuff is okay, so I'm gonna go from there. And then I'll also try it with the white balance, which I usually don't like. Yeah, like that. I don't really like that. So then I'm gonna warm this up a little bit just because there's like all of these golden colors, so I really want to emphasize that in the picture. But I also am not crazy about yellows, so I do kind of go towards this more like purple tint. I just don't want to go too far with it, so I'll start there. And now I'm gonna start to work on the actual owl, which one thing I really love is just like how the feathers are kind of fluffed up. So I really want to give some more attention to that. I'll usually add some texture. You can see that just like emphasizes them a little more. I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want it to like make it look, I don't know, I almost think of it as like burnt when you add too much like clarity or dehaze. I just feel like it makes it look like the quality isn't as good. So I'm gonna start there, and then I'm gonna actually go into his face, which like this is pretty intense. I might actually bring it down a little. Now for the eyes, I'll use this little radial gradient, and I almost feel like they have like a slightly green, like a slightly green tone here, so I want to move it more towards the yellow. And I'll usually bring up the clarity a little bit and the highlights. Just if there's any light in the eyes like there is right here, I'm gonna want to emphasize that. And sometimes the exposure a little bit. Now I'm not crazy picky, but yeah, if you bring this up too much, you're gonna ruin, like the detail of it. So I wouldn't go too crazy there if you decide to do anything like that. Then I'll just duplicate it and put it on the other eye. Oh man, there we go. Yeah, something like that. And then I probably want to go a little more with the clarity there. All right, and then after I do the eyes, I usually also add just another mask over the whole face to just kind of give some more, show some more of the details on the face. So I'll usually bring up the highlights and the whites, and then I will add like a little bit of clarity to the whole face. And I like to also darken the blacks a little bit just to give some more contrast on the eyes. Now after that, sometimes I'll go on to the beak and just draw on it, just to add a little more of the detail there, and then I just add some texture. Yeah. Okay. So I'm liking how he's looking there so far. Now One thing that I really like to do is I try to get all of the attention on the subject. So to do that, I'll usually add some of these linear gradients. So this one, I want it on the bottom. And there's kind of like a couple of ways that I will go about this part. And it's usually to do with this dehaze. So sometimes, you know, if you go this way, you can kind of like get rid of some of the detail. So, you know, there's just there's not as much to focus on down here. Like it doesn't take away as much attention. Or you can add some more, and then sometimes like darkening this area, I feel like just kind of guides you to the owl, or like you're making it darker to where the lightness of the owl stands out more. I think both of these are pretty intense, and I've been going kind of back and forth on how I want to do it with this one. So for now, I'm probably going to try this, just like a very little bit. And then sometimes with that, I'll also darken or lighten it. I don't really want to lighten it here because I just think it's taking too much attention away. And it's getting too distracting, but I might darken it a little bit. I recently got some feedback that I go pretty intensely with this to where it's kind of jarring. So I have been trying to make it a little more subtle. I mean, part of it really is like I don't usually mind if it's intense, just because really I just love to highlight the birds. But yeah, I'm just kind of trying that out and seeing if I like it better. So now from there, I really want to mess around with this background. I'm going to add another linear gradient, and I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to subtract the subject so it only affects the back of the bird. Just the background. And I really want to mess around with like this golden background, so I'm going to bring the exposure up a little bit. And this is actually advice that I got from another photographer, is to remember where the sun was when you were shooting. And I remember when I was photographing this owl, the sun was behind it, so the light really was coming from back here. So I kind of want to replicate that with the edit. So I'm bringing up the brightness here because, again, that's where the sun was coming from. I'm warming it up a little bit. Again, I don't like super yellows or just yellows. So I'll usually like add this, like I'll go towards the purple tint. And I'll probably add to this a little bit, just keep going and warm it up some more. And sometimes I'll try to dehaze it, but I don't know, with this one I really like the color, so I might even add a little bit there. Okay, so that's how that's looking. But now that I did that, you can kind of see like this is super warm, and then this owl, he's still just kind of neutral because I haven't really warmed him up as much as the background. So I probably want to work on blending this a little better and getting him to match up more. So maybe something like that. And then I also usually go on like I don't know, I think everyone kind of likes their colors a little bit different, but yellows, I usually like to bring them a little bit warmer, and sometimes I'll bring up the luminance because a lot of the time the main yellow that I have in a photo is the eyes, because I photograph a lot of owls. So I'll probably turn that a little bit. And then orange, I also usually go a little warmer with the orange, which is going to be a lot of like a lot of the owl. So maybe something like that. I'm not really sure what I want to do with the blues here because there's some like coolness in the sand, but I don't know how noticeable that is really. So one thing I'm noticing though is that it's just, you know, half of this picture is pretty much the gray sand while the top is super warm, and I feel like the warm is just more interesting. So I kind of want to see how it looks to include more of the background. Maybe something like that. And then with that, I want to, kind of take even more attention away from this at the bottom. Or just separate it a little bit more, because I think it just, I don't know, it's kind of like white and then a lot of color. So I don't think I want to warm it up. No, I don't. Don't know if cooling it either. But with this part, like, I really just like to mess around with it and try some different things. I'm actually kind of liking having that a little cooler. Now, again, with the sun coming from behind the owl, I added that gradient in the background, but I almost want to see how it would look if I tried to add a little bit of light kind of coming over the side to blend like this part right here where he's got the light on his feathers. So I'm gonna bring this radial gradient over here, make it big, and I'm only gonna have kind of like the little edge touching on him to see if that will help it blend a little more. So I'm gonna bring it up a little bit, gonna warm it up a little. That might be too much. And see how that's looking. Oh. I feel like he might still just be too cool compared to the rest of the photo. So I'm gonna try warming, not that much. Just warming him up a little bit. And adding some of that tint. I think I made him maybe too purple there. I don't know, I'm pretty happy with this, except kind of like this part down here. I don't know if I'm really happy with how I added that coolness. So I'm gonna maybe try warming that back up. Yeah, and maybe the move is just gonna be leaving that more kind of neutral. It's just a little bit, it's just, it's kind of hard for me to match this up, because this is just kind of more dull, and then you've got like lots of warmth up here. And I also don't really want to make this whole picture just yellow. So I'm trying to find some balance there. Okay, I'm gonna go back to this and see what we can do. I don't know if I want to make it darker. Nope. I don't want to make it lighter. See, this is, again, I got some feedback that people, or just someone, didn't love how intensely I usually go on darkening the bottom. But really, I love how it, like, my eyes kind of go immediately to the owl when, this, it's kind of intentional to get your attention somewhere else, but yeah, at the same time, I don't want to go too crazy. I want this to be balanced. I'm kind of at the point where I've been looking at it too long to where, like, I'm probably like, I'm getting kind of blind to what I'm even doing. But I think I'm going to just try to bring this up, make it a little more subtle. And then I'm feeling like it's really yellow. Like, this whole thing is really yellow. Oh, I think I'm still on the mask, so let me go back to the whole picture, and I might go a little bit more here. Don't know if I want to cool it off, maybe. Yeah, just make it more yellow. Maybe something like right there. And then this is already up. Maybe saturation I want to bring up a little bit. I think he might be too yellow still. Maybe something like that. Okay, now that I'm there, I'm gonna mess around with cropping it differently again. Again, I love that he's like facing this way and leaving some space for him on the side, but I still don't think that's it. I don't really want to show more of the sand. I don't think I do. No. I think that I want to go back to... Maybe we try this one again, but I'm going to want more of the background. I think I'll probably go... No. Maybe something like this. I feel like it's probably like painful to watch this. I don't know, when I see people at it, I'm just, you know, you think of how you would do it differently, or maybe that I've shown an option that you already liked and it's like, what are you doing? But I don't know, it's hard to choose sometimes. Maybe something more in the middle there. Yeah, maybe I'll go with something like that. I do keep thinking about having him face this way, but I don't love this here at the top. I feel like that's a little bit distracting. So maybe something... Oh yeah, now I'm not liking him on this side, and I want it the other way. I'll probably be doing this part for like the rest of my life, and yeah, won't be able to decide, but I feel like it's like closer, it's kind of being in the middle, but yeah, I've just been looking at this entirely too long, so I think I'm gonna stop that here. But yeah, wherever I end up with the crop, I mean, for the most part, that's kind of the process that I go through. Is I know kind of how I like certain colors, so I'll make a lot of the same changes with with the color mixer to a lot of my photos, just to get the colors that I like. And then I do a lot of the same things with like the gradients and all the masks. But yeah, with all my pictures, I just try to see how I can take advantage of the background, make that look nice, and then really emphasize the details of the subject, especially like the face and the eyes. But I do like a lot of portraits and close-ups, so yeah, that is my edit. I mean, for now. Let's see if I don't change the crop of this baby burrowing owl.